Hey everyone, welcome to We Read Business Books. I am Jackie Force, your co-host,
April Blackwell.
and we are recording this from Raleigh, Durham, where we're located, and we welcome you to our group. April and I created We Read Business Books out of our love of business books and personal development books and just learning, and we are sharing our book reviews with you in hopes that you can take a nugget or two. So this week this month, we are reviewing
Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. Oh, this was so
It
good.
was so good. I loved it.
Oh man. All right. So you know how there's like some people go, they criticize people who read lots of books. They, oh, instead of reading 50 books one time, we should read one book 50 times, right? But not all books are worth 50 times a read. But I think this is the type of book.
You could go in each chapter depending on what was moving you and re-listen to it and take quotes. You can think through them. I mean, because stillness is the key. And in that, I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest. And then once we were getting into it, I think I messaged April and I was like, how are you liking this?
Yeah. And I was like, I
was like, I am totally loving this.
Oh, man. I know we like most of the books that we read. I mean,
we want to read them because
we want to read them because we investigate
a couple, and maybe we haven't even done a review on them, but we're like,
but this one just really was like soul soothing. Like there was a need in my heart for this, in my mind. There was really a need in my body for this book, which is sort of like a setup for how the book is organized.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get into it. Okay. So Stillness is the Key, author Ryan Holiday. So I'm going to read our little summary here. So Ryan Holiday is a modern Stoic author who translates ancient philosophy into practical strategies for modern life and leadership. In Stillness is the Key, he draws from Stoicism, Buddhism, Christianity, and historical figures to argue the secret to excellence, clarity, and effectiveness is cultivating stillness. The book is structured into 3 parts. We'll go into that. A mind, spirit, and body. Holiday shows how mental clarity, emotional regulation, and physical discipline together create a foundation for better decision making, stronger leadership, and personal peace. So sometimes, and then he also says, stillness is not an activity, it's a disciplined practice of slowing down, thinking deeply, acting intentionally, and living with virtue. So this is interesting because after reading that, you're like, oh, so then why do I have to read the book? But it is full of stories and lessons and how it sort of pulled it together for me, and I think for you, it just was intriguing.
Yeah,
how he pulled these lessons together from, this ancient wisdom and then also threaded it through different religions and then historical figures. It was really cool. I liked it.
It was really cool. And the first section was about stillness of the mind. And the story and the historical figure that stands out to me is when he is talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh, yeah.
And he uses John F. Kennedy as his example. And he uses it as an example for several other things. But in particular, what I really enjoyed about that conversation is that he had to be still and be quiet to think about and ponder his next move. And instead of just invading Cuba, taking over and being aggressive, which could have really tripped up, everything and could have started like a world war. He went with a blockade instead. And that blockade gave Khrushchev the time to think about his next.
I mean, this could have been another world war. Seriously.
And so what I loved about that was it not just that it was important for you to have space, but if you just think about like in relationships and sometimes you have heated arguments, like it's important to give the other person space too.
And in that, that part of the story, if you I mean, it's a history lesson, really.
Yeah.
But in that, it allowed Khrushchev to have enough space where he could come back and say, and he had a response that wasn't like he was a coward or like he was giving up, but it gave him a chance to save face and leave the, and make a different decision. So I thought that was pretty cool too. That was a standout kind of story too, that I actually learned some history, because we don't always talk about.
Yeah, no, I mean, anyway, the book is full, I mean, about just real, like, even salacious stories of Tiger Woods. And
I didn't know the whole story. When he did Tiger Woods story, so some of the historical people that are talked about, Tiger Woods, John F. Kennedy, he talks about Winston Churchill,
Leonardo da Vinci, Buddha, Jesus. I mean,
gosh, so many others in here too.
Seneca. I mean, like
Epicurus.
Epicurus. Epictetus. Is it?
I think it's so.
It's from the Epicureans, Epictetus, I think. Yeah, I mean, our Greek is not so great, or whatever.
But no, it's really cool. So, so in the parts of the book, so I had mentioned, so part 1, the mind, and then part 2 is spirit, and then it ends with the body. So should we go over part 1, the mind? Any standouts for you, April?
I mean, it was just like that whole blockade response, which he came to a conclusion through taking time to be quiet. I mean, there's probably many other examples, but for whatever reason, I found that one to be fascinating to me. What about for you?
For me, when he started talking about limit your inputs, that was a standout for me, and slow down and think deeply. Those are the chapter headings. And when I was listening to, and that's only the 3rd chapter in, is limit your inputs, I was like, wow, isn't that the truth these days, with all the news and the emails and the social media and all of these things? It seems like when you have one good idea, someone's already did it, and you go back and you do another one, and you're just going around and around and around. And I was like, wow, that to me just sort of sat with me going, okay, limit your inputs. So
I totally agree.
That was pretty good. And having that time to take in only what you need, and then, have that time to reflect on it too.
Yeah. So. I mean, one of the takeaways from just this section of Stillness of the Mind is that clarity beats chaos, and the best leaders think before they speak and pause before they act. That was something that my mom taught me, like in kindergarten. I mean, these are just like, perennial wise truths. Think before you speak, and pause before you act.
I loved it. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So should we go on to the next section
of the body?
No, the body was last.
Oh, sorry, in my book it had.
So the next one was spirit.
All right.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Stillness of the spirit.
Awesome.
So that one, I mean, that was interesting too. One of my standouts were like choosing virtue. He talks about healing the inner child. And then one of them that I love too is accept a higher power.
Yeah, no,
I mean, it was really about like the internal work of yourself than seeking external. So the only way you can get that is being still and being with yourself and thinking and sort of understanding who you are as a person. So I think that's where the Tiger Woods example comes in.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I mean, because like he was so well trained to have a stillness of the mind when he was playing golf, but his mind was not still off the playing field.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. Oh my gosh, I kind of felt like I was kind of wrapped up and swept up into his chaos.
I know. I mean, I did not know Tiger's story. I know like some of the headlines I remembered, but going back and having his story told about how he would train and how his dad was relentless in his training when he was a kid, like that's all they did. And And then basically in his adult life, he was acting out.
Yeah.
He was acting out. He
Yeah.
was,
He had a tumultuous relationship with his father. I mean,
yeah.
basically they had like a safety word, and the safety word was enough.
Right.
So because his father was so belligerent and so really cruel to him when they were practicing, so that way he could, his father was in the military, retired military. So he really believed that if he could teach his son to have a still mind in the midst of chaos, that he could do anything, like, and perfect his game of golf, which he did very well. But that came at a cost.
It came at a cost for sure. Yeah. So that was fascinating. And he was really, as an adult, sort of self-sabotaging and acting out like I can do whatever I want with his money and fame.
Yeah.
And because he didn't really get to do what he wanted when he was a kid. He followed orders.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's fascinating. So all of that stuff inside, like, I think they use that as an example, the author did, as almost like what not to do. Like, this is what could happen when you don't have that.
Yeah. Some of the key practices that they talked about in this section was to practice gratitude daily. And of course, I love that. I feel like gratitude is such a healer. I mean, gratitude has gotten me through some tough times. And so I was really happy to see it in this book, and this is a Stoic philosophy, accept what you can't control. Stoic, and he's a Stoic philosopher. He knows what's in your control, what's out of your control. You can only control what you can control, which is,
I love
yourself, but you can't control what's happening in the world. So accept what is, things that if you can't do anything about it, it's no sense driving you crazy. Do what you can and then leave the rest.
Right. I love that.
Yeah. So good.
So the next part of the book, then he goes into the body. And this is where I was trying to figure out, like, I was trying to grasp it a little bit. Like, what are you, the first chapter wasn't really getting me. And then through the rest of it, I understood what he was talking about with the body. Do you want to start with that one?
Yeah. Your body is so important to the functioning of your mind, and just having that discipline of exercising, sleeping, avoiding excess, practicing moderation, help to you to not overwork or to get burnt out. And so talks a lot about going for a walk regularly, and I felt like being present, being fully present in your activity.
So it's not like being still, like you're going to sit and meditate and whatever, but really what he was talking about, like, keep taking care of yourself. And that's when I was like, oh, that's right. Because he talks about, as you mentioned, taking a walk. One of my favorite parts of it was build a routine.
Yeah.
That section, that chapter was pretty good too. He talked about building routines by just doing the work, and then he references chop wood, carry water, like that whole idea of just doing the routine. It becomes almost like a ritual. And he talks about how some people incorporate rituals into what they do, and it just sort of sets their mind in motion. And as they're physically doing something or doing a series of things, it just sort of sets their mind and their process up. And I was like, oh, I get it. Like it worked itself in for me with the book once we started getting into it.
Yeah. It makes sense. They're all, pretty much, all faiths, religions, philosophies address these three parts.
Yeah.
Body,
absolutely.
Mind, and spirit. And it's important to rest the body, rest the mind, rest the heart. But also not just for the sake of being quiet, but so that wherever you go in this chaotic world that we live in, or stressful work environments, or whatever the situation is, that you are the stillness. Like you are the stillness. Like And so I think like yes, let's see. There's like the noisy, distracted, always on world. Stillness is the superpower. Mastering your mind, body, and spirit through calm, clarity, and discipline leads to better decisions, deeper fulfillment, and lasting success.
Love that.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, ChatGPT, for your core message right there. But I was like, that was
No,
Yeah.
it's good. And in this one, he talked about taking a walk, building a routine, getting rid of your stuff. I mean, just
don't letting it control you.
don't let, like, if you have too much stuff around you, or acquiring things, because then your things become what you're working for. So that was fascinating. Being a human being. And he says, don't be a human doing, be a human being. And that's about being present. The next chapter is go to sleep. And I liked this one, find a hobby. I was like, ooh,
I love the hobby.
Because it's not being still. That's like literally putting your mind in a different,
Yes.
in a totally different, like, if your work is one thing, then find a hobby that will cultivate something else in your brain.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So he, talked about Churchill and did lots of paintings. I had no idea I didn't know either. He wasn't a great painter, but he was a prolific painter, and that got him through a lot of stressful times.
I know, that's awesome.
During World War.
His friends would love to hear that. Probably.
Yeah. And then for his physical activity, he laid bricks.
I know, that's so random. I thought that was so.
But there was
random.
another historical figure who planted trees and chopped down trees and planted trees and chopped down trees.
I was just gonna say he chopped down like over 1,000 trees, but then he would plant them too.
Yeah,
but it was just
forest. He was forest management. Was like, and I can't remember what his real life thing was, but he was.
I can't remember exactly. Yeah. He was some kind of.
He was also in like
I think it was in England or
military person or something like that.
I can't remember the part,
but
the chopping wood part. I was like, because that's so physically demanding. It's not being still.
Yeah, I mean, no, but he was able to find stillness.
Just sort of focus on that one thing. Totally different than his normal life.
So. No, I would definitely read this again. I would probably like read it even slower, like take a chapter at a time. Journal on it, let it sink in.
There's a lot that could be done here. In fact, he talks about journaling in this book. In the first part, I think it was.
Yes.
In the mind, getting your words on paper. But I mean, this was good. I mean, I had the paper copy, so I started listening to it on Audible, but then I had the paper copy coming so then I could make some notes. So I was in between the two. You just listened to it.
I opened it up to read it for like a few pages on a Saturday morning when I got started, and then the print, like you said, is really tiny. Yes, it is kind of a small print book. Not a big fan of that without readers on, but I can't see it without readers on. Actually, like it's like. But anyway, I enjoy listening to it. He narrates it.
Right. So it's an author narrated, and he does have a different, like, sort of.
His voice is somewhat monotone. He doesn't have a lot of inflection. And at first I was like, oh, but then I was like, oh, but once I kind of got into it, I was like, okay, no, he does have a pleasant voice.
I've watched him on a few, like, because of course now Ryan Holiday has a series of books, a little bit more about what he offers behind the scenes. He has a newsletter.
Yeah. He grew on me. He grew on me, and
he owns a bookstore in Texas where he's from. So ananyway, there's a lot there.
Very cool guy. Anyway, you want to talk about our next book?
Yeah. So our next book is. Oh, can we see it?
Let's see. The Moment of Life. I'm reading it backwards.
It's a Moment of Lift by.
Oh, sorry. See, I don't have readers on, and it's backwards. Thank you.
I hope it's not backwards. Yeah.
But Moment of Lift.
But Moment of Lift from Melinda Gates. We wanted to sort of switch it up. Female author in the month of March, Melinda Gates. So
it's Women's History Month, you said.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. It's Women's History Month. International Day of Women is in this month. It's Girl Scouts birthday in March. So all of it.
And my birthday.
Oh, and your birthday. All the good things. So in March, we're going to be reading that and reviewing it at the end of the month. So until then, keep
Keep
reading.
reading.
Bye.